All right, so we've gathered for another sculpture forum, and I am joined this time by Jock Ireland, the amazing Jock Ireland, and Lydia Gladkova. I'm Garth Evans, and this is being recorded and will be edited by the wonderful Mallary Marks. Thank you very much, Mallary. We've been to see a show at Stephen Harvey's gallery on the Lower East Side, a show of ceramic work by Elise Siegel, an artist I'm not familiar with, was not familiar with. Um, and I happened in on this show and was quite intrigued by it, and thought it would be a good subject for us to discuss. We're absent Brant Junso, one of our usual contributors. Brant was unable to see this show, so he's not with us for this. The exhibition consisted of, I think, I forget now, maybe nine, eight, nine uh, heads, torsos, really, and on pedestals, and then a number of quite a large number of much smaller heads on shelves on either side of the entrance to the gallery. The gallery space is quite small, and so there's a real sense of your immersed in amongst these things. And I'm trying to just think about what they were. I mean, it's obvious what they are in terms of being representations of people's heads and upper bodies. But their status seemed to me to be quite difficult to kind of pin down. They're not portraits in the traditional sense of being portraits. They don't, and yet they do, it seemed to me, offer themselves as quite specific, uh, quite specific, unique persons. And that was what interested me. But anyway, what did you think, Lydia?
I did not think they were specific persons.
What then?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I had strange references in my head when I was there.
I'm
I
sorry.
remember. I remember what?
I didn't quite understand. Could you say that again?
I said I had strange references in my head when I was there. I remember I thought they were birds. Ceramic birds, have you seen those whistles? Ceramic whistles and in the shape of a bird. I think I saw them in Mexico. Now there is no evidence you can whistle, right? So I had no idea why I thought that. I also thought of Phoenix, the bird, who is reborn every day. I'm not sure, with some regularity. Maybe because some of them had blue faces, and I thought of the cycle of, death and rebirth, whatever. I also noticed, at least it was my impression, that she references things. She references her museum experience, right? And they bring to mind, I don't know, Mesopotamian figures or something like that. I'm not sure. With the head, with the hair, they all have the same hair. And I thought, I've seen portraits with this hair at the museum. And so these were my first impressions. How about you, Jock?
That I'm interested in what you said there about the phoenix being reborn, and the question of are these portraits or not, and are they specific people? Are the it's as if they are. My sense is that they were trying to be specific people. A character was trying to be born, and the character was incomplete, but there was something trying to emerge, uh, and it was fascinating to see this sort of aspiration, or something uh, trying to emerge, trying to get out into the world. Yeah, and the photographs that Mallary took are terrific, but they're not they're just not like the visit to, or my visit to, the gallery. When I was there, or just seeing the things in real life, um, uh, the lips on some of them had a glaze, and just a glaze that made them very different from the rest of the figure, and it's just parts of the figure, or of the pieces, um, didn't cohere, but it's that the incoherence left me with this impression of something trying to emerge. Some of the lips were sort of uh, almost snarky, and I thought of Mae West, the early 20th century actress, um, and but there's a kind of vulnerability or whatever to these figures that is un-Mae West like, but they're sort of a Mae West kind of character trying to get out of some of them. And that kind of thing is hard to see in the photographs, or the films.
That touches on one of the very strong kind of thoughts I had, on my second visit, because I did go twice, to this show, which was that I was encountering what you said, incomplete characters. No, not incomplete, but characters in disguise.
Okay.
And there was something very theatrical, it seemed to me. I'm not quite sure how that word applies, but it felt that there was as if I began to feel as if I was, in the middle of a group of performers who were about to go on stage, but they were very heavily made up,
Mm-hmm.
to the extent that they were in fact disguised. And
Yes.
who they really were was very difficult to kind of get at, because they were offering themselves as pretending to be somebody else.
Yes, oh, yes, I respond to that very much.
Does that make sense? At the same time, compelling, I felt, intriguing, compelling, somewhat mysterious.
So, Garth, when you say that they are wearing makeup, whatever, are you saying they're not honest?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not direct is maybe better than honest.
Well, because I questioned that myself. I asked myself.
No, I mean, I don't know how to answer that, Lydia. The honesty. I mean, what is being asked here? Is the author being honest, or is the author? I mean, the artist, the originator of the works. I think the originator of the work is honestly, earnestly trying to manifest something. And understandably, I don't think the artist, the author of the works, is obligated to have a very clear grasp of what it is they're trying to manifest. That's why they're trying to manifest it, to come to terms with it. So I think the artist is being entirely honest and truthful and genuine and earnest. And but I don't know whether the characters she is manifesting are, whether she's interested in playing with the idea of people disguising their personalities. And maybe she's talking about the way we all put on a face. Who knows?
I remember we were leaving when we were there. I understand it was your first time there, my only time there. And you said, Garth, this gallery owner doesn't show sculpture, but he does show ceramics.
Yes, Stephen Harvey said that. Yeah, he does not show sculpture, but he does show ceramics.
So I thought, here's the person who doesn't like sculpture.
Well,
enough to let it be known. But somehow this sculpture is okay. So if you are uncomfortable with sculpture, it makes you, I don't know, unsettled.
Well,
then can I say it? You don't like it, what I'm saying? Then no worries. This sculpture is just like painting.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying, Lydia.
I'm not sure myself, but this is what I thought about it.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I didn't find myself thinking a lot about sculpture when I engaged these things. I mean, I think that it would be very easy to be critical of them in terms of their academic character in terms of anatomy. Anatomically, the skull is often largely missing, and so on. But that seemed irrelevant.
But that's not what I'm saying. Not at all.
Well, I didn't mean that was what you were saying. I was just carrying on from where you'd left off, or where I thought you'd left off. We don't know why the gallery owner asserts that he does not show sculpture. I'd be happy to say these things are, fall under the umbrella of sculpture.
What I was trying to say is that I like sculpture. It feels like sculpture, not like painting without a frame.
Yeah.
I think there is, I don't know. I think there is something special about the experience of making in the world what the mind is missing.
What were you saying, Lydia? The mind is missing?
Yeah. I don't have what I need, so I'll make it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Could you repeat that for me, Jock, what Lydia was saying?
She there was something that is not in the world, and Elise, the sculptor, ceramicist, made it because it's not.
No.
Oh, okay, good. What?
Yeah, it's
Correct me, Lydia.
I said there is something special about the experience of making in the world what the mind is missing.
Making in the world what the mind is missing. Of course, yes.
And I like to feel it. Then I care.
and how does that relate to this work?
I didn't feel it here. I thought it was this person very specific experience, a very specific engagement with art. I didn't see something that is universal and therefore applies to me too.
Did you feel confronted by these objects, people?
No, I had a reaction. They spoke to me.
They spoke to you, but they didn't confront you.
Confront me? No.
Confront you, yeah. Did they? Because it struck me. One of the things that struck me about them was that somehow or other they were present, but they were not addressing me. They were indifferent to my presence. They seemed to be in their own, like, preoccupied. Each one seemed to be engaged in its own world of thought or feeling or something, and oblivious in some way oblivious to the surroundings. And that was one of the things that made me think they were about to perform, as if they were kind of preparing to come to life. They didn't seem beautiful, but somehow the photographs make them look closer to being beautiful than I thought of them when I was in the gallery.
Yeah, the photographs unify things, and they're wonderful photographs. They're very conscientious and so on, but the just the machinery of the cameras, the technology gets in the way of the direct experience of the sculptures, and that that sense of a character emerging, but emerging only in parts of the sculptures, or I don't know. That's consistent with what you're saying, Garth, about characters about to perform, about to come to life completely someplace else.
Yeah.
This is backstage.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, I mean, the photographs always do this, don't they? I mean, first of all, they frame things. So you know, and they're flattened. It's, you know, we're looking at an illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's in the nature of the process, isn't it? But it is interesting to comment on you know, on the difference between seeing, because our audience will be seeing a screen like we are at the moment, because
Yeah.
we're gathered via Zoom and we're looking at a video of the show that Mallary shot when we visited it, and that's what our audience, you know, will be seeing, and it is a different. These are very good photographs. They're very compelling, but there is something just, yeah,
Yeah, it's impossible.
yeah. Well, I hope this show was seen by a good number of people and went well. Interesting. I can't imagine having one of these in my home. It'd be very um, uh, strange, I think. Might be very valuable. I'm not sure. To be reminded of something. What exactly? I don't know. It's not something we usually talk about, is it? Having one of the pieces from a show we've seen in our home or in our yard or somewhere. And yet somehow it occurred to me in this show, you know, that what would it be like, you know, to live with one of these things?
Yeah, it's I I'm no historian, but I think you know, there are lots of I think, I don't know, the ancient Romans often had sculptures of deceased members of their family in their homes.
Mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
you know, that was part of the culture, as I understand things, and I probably got a lot of it wrong, but it's that kind of thing uh, that is maybe disturbing about thinking about having these in your home. I happen to have some sculptures, but I'm not disturbed by the sculptures that I own, and I think these have a dimension that is disturbing in the way you're describing, Garth.
Yeah, I mean, not disturbing, not necessarily in a bad way, maybe just
Yeah.
keep you awake in a certain way. I don't think you need to go back to Rome. I mean, I think it was a common practice amongst the well-to-do in Great Britain and here as well. I think to have portraits of one's ancestors, you know, all over the dining room. I remember. That was you know, it still is, I imagine, something you know, if you're a member of a dynasty and the ancestors have had their portraits painted over several generations.
Real in sort of contemporary England,
Well, I don't
that
know.
kind.
I haven't been there for a while, and I haven't been in any homes of the aristocracy for a while. But yeah, I mean, I imagine that is still the case. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
it sounds sort of un-American.
well, no, indeed, it isn't un-American. I have personal experience of that. Um,
In the States.
in the States, yes. I
Okay,
think,
well that's
yeah, Mallory is showing us a note that we have a limited amount of time left unless we want to resume. Um,
okay. Yeah.
but yeah, no, I mean, I don't know why it occurred to me in this show, and it doesn't normally occur to me, about having one of these things, living with one of these things.
Yeah.
You know, but it did in this show, and
Related to them?
sorry,
Yes, you would feel you related to them.
In a very awkward and kind of uncertain and problematic kind of way, yes. They were provocative in a sense. We haven't spoken about the smaller heads on the shelves on the side, which I thought were, you know, really very, very, very sweet and nice and delightful, many of them. I thought they were nowhere near as consistent in the kind of impression they made as the big heads, but some of them utterly charming, and some of them didn't interest me at all.
Yeah.
They seem to be an aside to the main show. Maybe they're
Right, and they're a little too small, and the photographs make them bigger, or they slow you down.
yeah.
But the pieces themselves didn't have the power, presence of the bigger pieces.
No, not at all. Not at all. Okay. Any last word? Thank you, Mallary. Thank you, Jock. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Thank you, Stephen Harvey.
Right.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Recording finished.